back to today's episode. Today we are going to be talking about diversity and acceptance in the Air Force. I'm here with Ashlyn. Thanks for having me. Okay, so I was wondering from an outside perspective, before today, what did you know about women in the Air Force?
Before this, I knew that there were women allowed in the Air Force, but I didn't know that there was such a big ratio compared to men.
Okay. Well, did you know that only about 6% of the Air Force is women? They also don't have a lot of role models, so it makes it a diverse experience.
I didn't know. That's really interesting.
Well, now you know. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now I'm here with Jameson Merson. How are you?
Great. Excited to be here.
Questions for you. What do you think the role gender stereotypes play in female pilots?
I don't know about it, but I know Amelia Earhart.
They play a huge role because they can make people doubt women's abilities as pilots. It also adds extreme pressure.
Well, now I know.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to today's episode. Last episode, I was talking to random people on the street about gender diversity in the Air Force. Today, I'm here with military professional Bill Wall. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so to start off, based on your experience, it has been shown that women feel pressure to perform. Did you see that in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think more in the military than anywhere else, because there's more and more women in the military nowadays than obviously there ever have been, but there's also the pressure for them to perform at a higher level to prove that they belong there.
Interesting, because it shows how the experience isn't equal, even if the job is the same.
No, things move very slowly in the military. A lot of traditions in the military are very strong. And so, if you look back to the 1940s, women had a very limited role. Mm-hmm. And so moving forward over the decades, obviously they've taken up much greater roles. And they've accomplished a lot, but there's still a sense of tradition around it being a man-dominated industry.
Okay, so it kind of affects confidence and long-term career growth.
I think women in the military have to be strong. They are obviously in the minority, and so there's pressure for them to perform at a higher level, even though they're doing the same job as men.
Okay. So also to mention progress, when you were in the Air Force, did you notice any?
Did I notice
any progress?
Absolutely. I think we see women in more and more, women were typically kept out of dangerous roles. We're seeing women, as fighter pilots, women as, performing roles in the Navy that are more, are more wartime roles. But also just, promotions, we're seeing, women that are generals, women that are admirals. So yeah, there's definite progress.
Still work to be done though.
Yeah, there's still, the Air Force has the highest percentage of women and it's still at 20%. So it's not equal.
Yeah. So if someone is listening to this and they're a female and they want to become a pilot, what would you say?
Pilot in the military, I would say, go in with your eyes open that it is a male-dominated, currently it's male-dominated, but any woman that goes in there and does her best is going to be equal to the best male pilots. You just have to believe in yourself and perform.
Okay, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
During these last few episodes, I've gone through and talked to everyday people, even military professionals, and now I'd like to look at the data. Looking at these charts not only helps us realize the bigger picture, but it also helps us better understand the gender differences and actual representation in the Air Force. The first chart, which shows the scoring for the new Air Force fitness test. One of the most noticeable things is that the standards are different for men and women. For example, in the 1.5 mile run, men under 25 need a time of about 9 minutes and 12 seconds to get a maximum score, while women in the same age group have about 10 minutes and 23 seconds. That's a significant difference. The same pattern continues across other exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, and planks, where men are expected to complete more repetitions or hold positions longer. This shows that the Air Force is responsible for the biological difference in physical performance. However, even with these adjusted standards, men and women are still expected to perform at the highest of standards. This connects to the larger idea that even if the standards are different, the expectations to succeed are still the same. Now, moving on the second chart, which shows the percentage of women in different branches of the military over time, we can see another important trend. The Air Force consistently has the highest percentage of women compared to the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. Over time, the percentage of women in the Air Force increases, reaching close to about 20%. However, even at its highest point, women still only make up about 1/5 of the Air Force. This means that men are still the majority. When we narrow this down even further to specific roles like pilots, the percentage becomes even smaller, often around 6%. Overall, they provide data that supports the experiences that were talked about earlier. They show that even though progress has been made in women in the Air Force, there is still a big gap in representation. This helps us understand why gender diversity is still a big issue. Thanks for watching the show.